Hi, today is the 16th of March. This is the sixth law video and it will be an introduction to criminal law. Normal lecture will be 3 hours, so I'll plan to do it in under 30 minutes, but don't expect it to be so in detail, okay? I won't go through the cases, I'll just go through the principles. So first, I'll talk about what is a crime, and then what is actus reus and mens rea, and then example of a crime is murder, and I'll conclude. So a crime can be can be contrasted with civil proceedings. So in civil proceedings, party A versus party B. In a crime, you have the public prosecutor, DPP, deputy public prosecutor, or versus the defendant. So the government or the state is suing you now. Okay, is charging you in court. They call it. You can also say a crime is different punishment. So uh, in civil you don't go to jail, but in the criminal the punishment can be jail lah. Some countries they can have death penalty, right? Um, and it also can be considered from the nature of the harm, right? Civil is normally financial harm lah, but criminal normally is the harm is more serious, okay, to society and all, okay, because you are guilty lah, they call it. A serial case you don't call a person guilty, right? The loser is not guilty, right? Just a winner and loser. But in a criminal case, the person will be guilty. Guilty means you deserve punishment, okay. uh, so you have the objectives of criminal law is to deter people from doing criminal activities, and it's also to retribute lah. Retribute means balas dendam like that lah, right? Like punish the evil person lah, right? So you have of course you got some other smaller objectives lah. You can check that out. You got the burden of proof. So to prove a crime, you have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. You cannot just simply say one person is a criminal, right? When you go to court, it has to be beyond reasonable doubt. Means some people say it's 90 more than 90% lah. Okay, but the percentage is not really defined as a percentage, but it's just when you because UK got jury, so the jury will decide, do I have any doubt or not that he committed the crime. When they say no doubt, this guy confirm he did it, then they will convict you lah. But whereas civil case, you just the degree is balance of probability, means more than 50% lah. Then uh, you can say the person win. So we have, and sometimes the crime, they will have reverse burden of proof. Some normally is the prosecutor have to prove in court. Okay, the victim can just keep quiet. The defendant can just keep quiet, and he doesn't have to prove he's innocent. Everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But sometimes they can say, like, because like sexual offences, it happen in private. So how do you prove that the person consented, right? uh, you so they will put the burden on proof on the defendant to prove that he believed that the victim consented to his sexual act, you know so what made you believe that the person was consenting? So you have to prove, the defendant now have to prove. Okay, so this is normally for parliament. Parliament will normally legislate all this. um, okay, so a crime will be these two things. You need a guilty act, actus reus, a guilty mind, mens rea, and there must be no defenses. Okay. So anything that is in a person's mind, they call it MR. Anything not related to the mind is the act, actus reus. So there is conduct, circumstances, and result. So if you kill somebody, your conduct is you shoot the gun. Circumstances is the guy die. Result is the guy die. Circumstances is the guy is a human being, it's not an animal, or it's not a monkey or what, it's a human being, right? So you'll be what now, but normally people in exam you don't need to go into so detail. Normally we will just analyze the AL and ML lah, together. All these things will be analyzed together. um, of course, conduct and result normally is the main one for AL. Okay, because circumstances are not so important. So defenses, there are also defenses. So like if you kill somebody, right, the murderer can say I was drunk, or somebody put drugs in my drink I didn't know. Or you can say automatism, like I suffer from sleepwalking. I didn't know what I was doing. Insanity, I know insanity means you got mental illness. Duress means somebody threaten me, if I don't do it they will kill me, or they will kill somebody, so I'm forced to do it. You can also say I was defending myself, or I was defending somebody else, the public. Or I can say it was necessity, like I want to send somebody to hospital, I need to drive my car very fast, right? So I just go through all the red lights, because it's an emergency, so necessity. Necessity is very broad. Okay, anything that doesn't fall into here normally is considered necessity. uh, so we why we need AL and ML is because the law respects everybody. They don't force people to do things, uh, right? If they were to say you cannot, Lang Song cannot do anything, then people don't have any more freedom, right? So you are free to do it, provided you don't have all these MR and AR. Okay, so more on actors here. So we want to talk about causation. Okay, first we have to talk about factual and legal causation. There are two types. Okay, first you prove factual first, the but-for test. Okay, uh, so if did was you the factual cause of the person's death or not, right? If you let's say you cut somebody's hand, and then the person next day die, is your act of cutting his hand, let's say you cut a small cut only, then if you're not the, he will die, maybe he die of heart attack, so he died of heart attack it's not because of your cut so it's not the factual cause then you won't be guilty of manslaughter but if so uh, legal causation, then you go on to legal causation to say that it must be substantive, operative, and blameworthy. Okay, normally last time it's substantive and just operative, but nowadays they say there is another one called blameworthy lah. So substantive means it cannot be the minimal cause, right? Yeah, you have to go look at the cases you open a textbook, you can see there are 2 or 3 cases, at least 2 or 3, on what is substantive causation, uh, substantive and operative. Operative is more important because the chain of causation must not be broken. Okay, normally the victim, they will say the exam question will say the victim did something, right? And so the fault is you didn't cause it it's the victim who caused it, then can. Okay, but the victim's action must not be foreseeable and must not be voluntary right? Third parties also can break the chain of causation. Natural events also can. Let's say you injure somebody, the person go to hospital, but the doctor there, they mistreat the person, they didn't do their job properly, and then the victim died. So the cause is not, you are not the operative cause, because you didn't cause the death of that person. You only, maybe you hit him, you slightly injure him. The third party is the cause of the thing, so you break your chain of causation, right? um yeah, but of course the third party also cannot be it must be serious enough that they break the chain of causation. Okay, if let's say the doctor made a mistake, you know he may not break the chain of causation if it's just a small normal mistake. Yeah, so and the vulnerabilities are not taken into account. So if the victim is very weak, right, you punch him, but normal person won't die. But let's say the victim die, because he is very weak, then you are still going to be guilty, right? They call it the thin skull rule. So we have blameworthy is, for example, if you drive without license and insurance, but the other car come into your lane, it come to the opposite lane. So the fault is the victim, right? Even though you didn't have the license and you so-called you have legal and substantial, legal and factual cause, but you are not the one to blame. The other guy came into your lane. So you are not the cause of it. It's the victim. Okay. So we also know that omissions, there is no duty. Right? If you don't do something, the law is not going to punish you. So if you see somebody drowning, somebody get into an accident, you never help them, and the person die, you are not guilty of the person's death. You're not responsible. But uh, unless there are few categories, unless you are under a contract, okay, let's say you are working as a lifeguard or policeman and you never do your job, then you can be liable for the death of the person if it's your family member, if you are taking care of the person, or if you created the dangerous situation. So if you play with fire, you every day smoke, or you light a fire in a building, if the building fire spreads to the building, uh, right, and you created the situation, so you must do something You cannot just sit down, okay let the building burn You have to call the fire bomba, right? You need to do something and warn people because you created the situation. So this is omissions. So we have mens rea. So more on mens rea. Mens rea, they are what is the person's mind So some different types are all these, right? So knowledge and belief, if yeah, normally we cover intention, recklessness, and negligence in our exam. So we have intention, they are direct, indirect. So direct means I want to kill the person. Indirect means actually I don't want to kill the person, I just want to like I set up a bomb, I'm a terrorist. The bomb, but I know the bomb will kill a lot of people. So that is indirect intention. You know already the bomb will kill a lot of people, even though you don't want to kill him, right? It is still intention. So intention is required for murder Later you will see. Okay. Whereas if you accidentally or you recklessly cause a death, is manslaughter. So it's lesser. The penalty is the punishment is lesser. Right. So the test for intention is the result will certainly happen and the defendant foresee it will certainly happen. And that is not enough. Okay, the jury must also they may or may not find intention So it's up to the jury. For UK, for Malaysia is the judge So right, so for example, if you shoot a gun, but the defendant knows the gun, he believes the gun will kill the person, the victim, but actually the gun is empty, the gun is broken or defective or what. So this part here, objectively, the objective part is not satisfied, so there is no intention. Very funny one, the law. So it must be both right? And then so this is intention. They call it the Woollin test. Of course, they got other tests before this 1998. They got a lot of other ways to define intention, but now the law is considered Woollin. Okay. Recklessness, now the law is also Cunningham. Before this, they got other tests. Okay, go and read the textbooks. But now is you must foresee some type of harm. Okay, so for example, if I throw a cup, okay, I throw a cup in a restaurant, and then the cup hit somebody, on the face, and the person now got a cut. Now, when I throw the cup, do I foresee any harm or not? Yeah, of course, maybe lah. If I'm so stupid, That's the thing. See, recklessness means if you're so stupid or you're so immature that you don't know you will cause harm, then you can escape. You won't be reckless. Um, but and it also must be the same type of harm. Okay, you cannot be like you try to steal something and then somebody die. That's different. You cannot. I foresee risk of stealing something, but the harm is death. Cannot charge you with manslaughter lah. Okay. So negligence is on the other hand an objective test. Objective means what a reasonable person is supposed to do. Okay. So this is subjective, this is objective. Negligence is they go what is your duty of care and did you breach it or not. So they'll ask what is not whether you are clever or stupid. So the negligence one thing is some people they got very low intelligence. They are born a bit you know low intelligence low IQ. So like the guy he don't know he set fire and then the build like let's say you are very young, you're 13 14-year-old, you set fire and then the whole thing get burned. You're just a child ma. So if you take a reasonable person, you don't consider what a 13-year-old, you consider what a mature adult would have done. So the guy will obviously be convicted from negligence, right? uh yeah. So some offenses you need recklessness, some offenses you need negligence, right? Yeah, that one like you see but the main offenses is like you damage people's property, okay, or if you cause somebody harm lah, like you accidentally hit somebody or something, then you see whether you need recklessness or negligence. So parliament also sometimes they will create strict liability, so you don't need mens rea. They will say, let's say if I catch you driving, the moment you have too much alcohol in your blood, you are drunk driving. Right? I don't care whether you purposely drink or you didn't know all these things. I don't care the moment. So this is called strict liability. But only parliament the courts won't go and do this. Murder. So this is one example of crime. So intentionally causing the death of another human being. So first we have to prove intention. Then we have to prove, first in exam normally we go for AR first. What is the AR that he did, and then we go on to MR. Right. So the AR will be you cause a death. The person have to be a human being, and MR will be intention. Right. And then we of course we have to cover defense also lah. Normally exam not so straightforward as AR, AMR. Normally we have to talk about defense also. So if the defense is defense for AR, then we talk after AR, then we talk the defense for AR. Then AMR, then we got defense for MR also. Right. So yeah, I'll talk about that later, I hope. Right. So yeah. So intention. So what intention? Intention to do what? Intention to cause serious bodily harm, right? Or intention to cause death. And in UK is mandatory life imprisonment. Okay. Of course, sometimes you get parole, you get a shorter life sentence but the court cannot, simply go and what they have to give you this. But in UK, all murders are treated the same. US they split into first and second degree lah. First degree is you intend to cause serious harm. The second is you intend to cause injury, and then they got manslaughter lah. So yeah, so they say it's very serious lah. Yeah. So why is it serious? It's because you see death they consider it as you cannot money cannot take away, money cannot do, you cannot do anything once a person die already mah, right? And money also cannot help you. So once you take away a life, you all other things so if let's say the person can contribute to society, he can do a lot of good things but now you take away all of this, that he cannot, there's no more value already, his life is gone. Yeah. So is more than, how do you value a life? Is it 1 million? Is it 1 billion? You cannot put a price tag on life lah. So, and also a lot of people, the victims will be the family members will be angry, the wife, the children will be, they will what lah. And it's also public also lah. The public won't be happy lah if people just simply kill everybody, right? But it doesn't really talk about all these, like some people they purposely torture, they it's a sexual nature, or let's say the victim very young, they go and bully the victim ah. So all this by right you should punish more mah, right? But the law doesn't lah. Okay. So in conclusion, we don't punish people without a guilty mind. The law has developed this way. But it's not easy to prove, okay, in court. This one I never study how to do this, because it's not in our syllabus. Okay. Maybe in third year lah, under evidence ah. If you study evidence, then maybe. But in this criminal law is not taught. So without criminal law, we can see, it's very important lah. It's actually more important than contract law, family law. Without criminal law, everybody will be fighting, right? And but you cannot punish the innocent also. So you need to warn people. A lot of people, they don't know. They drive car, and then they didn't know it's a criminal offense, right? They drink alcohol and then they drive, and then they bang somebody, or they drive too fast or what, and then they get into prison. So the government need to do warning to people. But in Malaysia, a lot of people don't know that it's a crime to do a lot of things, right? And there must be proof proper procedure proper proof and so you cannot you must protect the innocent also, so we have things like the people who control the justice system are all these people okay. So these are if one doesn't work, let's say we take away this person, or we take away here, one also you don't have any more justice system already if one person doesn't want to do his job. So actually it relies a lot on government also lah. Who are the people in government who maintain the system. And sometimes justice, we don't get justice all the time, because people go undetected, the police cannot catch them, right? They so a lot of times justice delayed lah. Is it justice denied? So right, like a lot of people in in a war time, like you are Ukraine, and then Russia come and kill you, right? So there's no who is going to judge all this, all this. Can we say there is justice in this world, or there's no justice in this world, right? Is it just a theory? So we sometimes not necessarily delayed is denied also lah, okay. If right, this one is up to your belief okay. But in this world, we know lah, a lot of people don't get justice lah. So don't expect the police or the government to come and save you and come and do justice for you all the time, okay. A lot of time it doesn't happen, okay. It is but of course, while we are alive, then what we have to do something with our life also we don't want to every day just while we are still alive, then we just make use of our life, okay. Thanks. Bye.